Hi guys, welcome to Souls Know Evolution. Thank you for taking the time to join me. This is going to be a bit of a random, bit of an impromptu reading. Had no intention to record a reading based around the coronavirus, but if you tuned into the weekend reading that I did, you'll know that during that reading my daughter ran off with a couple of my tarot cards. This is the one that she managed to get her hands on and bend, and she also managed to get her hands on this one as well, and these two she also pulled out of the deck. So when I went to tidy up after the reading, picked the cards up, I read them and I thought, wow, this is a little bit strange. So I've decided to use the cards that my 14-month-old daughter selected, and they all tie in. I'm kind of mind blown, but like I say, they all tie in with the current global pandemic that we're all dealing with at the moment, namely the coronavirus. So the first card that she pulled out is titled Tranquility. So tranquility at home leads to health. Home is for resting, renewal, warmth and love. If this is not the atmosphere in your home, then what can you do today that contributes to changing it? So when I read that, I thought, wow, there's something in there. So I decided to put these cards as the main focus of the reading. I'm going to pull a few clarifiers and then pull an oracle card to tie everything off. But in light of the fact that whether it's voluntary or involuntary, we're all being encouraged to spend a lot more time within the home. I think it was I'm not sure now, but one of the readings that I did last week, we got rest and we got relaxation, and I alluded to the same type of energy. So whether the coronavirus is the instigator of this tranquility that we're finding within the home, it's my understanding and it's my belief that we should be cultivating a happy, warm, loving space where we can renew ourselves, renew our energies. And the question, as it says there, is what are you doing that contributes towards changing that, if that is not the energy that currently resides within your home. Your home is supposed to be a place of sanctuary, a place of safety. Now this is card number 32, which reduces down to a 5, and 5 to me speaks about an energy of challenge. It can speak about instability. So where there has been instability with the home in light of this coronavirus, we're being encouraged now to create a stable and firm, loving and warm foundation, and like I said, a sanctuary for which we can find a level of peace and tranquility within. Now these other two cards, like I say, my mind's still kind of blown. Both are titled illness. So first of all, let's look at this one. It says illness begins in the stomach and diet is the main remedy. Be mindful today of how you nourish your body with healthful food. Feed your spirit with self-respect and self-love, allowing only positive thoughts and feelings to enter into your being. So like I say, in light of what everybody is dealing with at the moment, and this is a global issue, it's not a personal issue, but we're looking at, like I say, what we consume in terms of food, in terms of nutrition. And I know it's difficult at the moment because the supermarkets, the shelves are practically empty depending on where you live in the world. But our diet, regardless, like I say, of the coronavirus, is something that we should have been focusing on, irrespective, like I say, of this pandemic that we're all dealing with now. Now, as it mentions here, only feed your spirit with self-respect and self-love, allowing only positive thoughts and feelings to enter into your being. So again, it's kind of alluding to me about this panic. It's alluding to me about, I suppose, the reason for this virus, or the reason that we're dealing with this virus now. Now, all of the readings that I've done in the past week, so the weekly, the midweek check-in and the weekend reading as well, when I take a step back and look at all three of those readings, you know, as a whole, then the message is exactly the same, but I'm extending the parameters, I'm bringing it out, whereas I'd kind of honed it into on a personal level. But we had the reading at the beginning of the week that spoke about the breaking of these generational cycles. So if we look at the tranquility and peace that we create within the home or the home environment, as well as our diet, our nutrition, how we nourish ourselves in terms of food, food is just energy. So like I said, in light of this coronavirus, a lot of people now are looking at food in a different way. Now, this isn't to say the origins of the coronavirus, because I've heard a lot of different stories and I'm not qualified in any stretch of the imagination to discuss this, but one of the stories I've heard is that it originated from the consuming of bats. Whether that is true, whether it is not true, but all I'm saying is that if we're recognizing that, you know, health begins in our stomach and diet is the remedy, and we should only be feeding our spirit with that which provides us with a level of self-respect and self-love and positive thoughts and feelings that enter into our body. So it extends from that as far as I can see it. And I know, like I said, the supermarket shelves are empty at the moment, so even finding what you need on a practical basis is getting more and more difficult for some. I went yesterday and there was no nappies there, and I'm like, right, okay, I understand the need to, you know, to get nappies, but why are the shelves completely empty? So it's getting a little bit ridiculous, and that in itself is causing panic. So I'm going to read through the rest of them. I'm going to pull some tarot on this, but the second illness card speaks about illness is not a punishment but a stimulant to life. Illness can be a teacher, a companion, or a challenge, but not a punishment. Still, sometimes its message isn't clear. Ignore the illness, look for the stimulation in the knowledge that you can heal in an instant. So again, I do believe that this coronavirus that we're dealing with now is a manifestation of energy. I don't know if I've said this already. I kind of feel all over the place, but it's come here or it's expressed itself in this form at this particular time. So divine timing, I'm sure that was in one of the readings that I did earlier on in the week as well. But it's expressed itself to teach us a lesson. It's expressed itself so that we can understand something about ourselves, understand something about humanity, understand, you know, what is important within our home space, what is important in terms of, like I say, how we're feeding ourselves. And how I'm seeing it as well is the fact that we rely so heavily on supermarkets to provide our food. I've never in my lifetime gone to a supermarket and seen the shelves bare. So that is begging the question, or it begs the question, well, so what do we do? How can we be more self-sufficient? How can we ensure that we are able to, you know, give ourselves what we need in terms of nutrition, in terms of energy, in terms of food, without relying on these huge corporations? So like I said, there's something for us to learn, and I feel as though this virus has expressed itself as a teacher, like I say, and also a challenge, but it's definitely not a punishment. It's not here to punish us. It's here to open our eyes. It's here for us to look at this situation from a deeper perspective. I think it was Teal Swan whose video I was watching that sort of said that, you know, we are not, let me get this right. Yeah, she said that we're not neighbours, but we're in fact roommates because we all share the same home. So it goes back to this card here. And that home that we share is the planet Earth. So regardless of your race, regardless of your social status or your economic background, at the moment we're all being affected in the same way. So this, like I said here, this illness has come as a teacher. It may be a challenge for some, but like I say, it's for us to look at how we treat each other. Look at what's important. Now, like I say, we've got all this social distancing that is the buzzword that's being thrown around at the moment. And to be perfectly honest, I've socially distanced, whether consciously or unconsciously, for the last 14 months because I'm a new mom. So I spend a lot of my time at home. I go to the supermarket once a week. You know, we go to the park. We have the occasional play date. And that is generally it. I work from home, so I don't need to be out. And this coronavirus isn't going to affect me in the same way that I know that it's going to affect other people. But we can all learn something from this. This is card number 42, which reduces down to a 6. And 6 to me is an energy of harmony. It's an energy of family, but this is family outside of our DNA. And I think I even mentioned, you know, stuff being passed down through our DNA, this generational, this cyclical energy that we've been dealing with. And I really think that all of the messages of this week, if you re-listen to them, but on a more global scale, then they make more sense. It's about us breaking those old cycles and old patterns and the way that generationally we have come to rely on, let's say, the services, the government, corporations in the way that we do. And the fact that we've been socially distancing ourselves irrespective of this coronavirus, for a long time now, whether it's through, country borders or race or, like I said, socio-economic background. So it's about bringing those walls down now and really learning the lesson, getting the lesson. Because from what I know about spirituality, which isn't, I don't know it all, definitely not. But what I come to understand is that if we don't learn the lesson, as I've been saying, it's about closing out an old cycle. But to close out an old cycle, we truly have to fundamentally understand the lesson. And this is on a global scale. On a global scale. Now, I wanted to end with this card, wellness. And it says, wellness is our natural state. Disease is an imposter. Memories are clever imposters, making it appear that an experience or relationship cannot be healed. If you believe that, how can you heal your body or protect your health? Replace imposters with a higher truth. So this to me is talking about, and I mentioned it in the weekend reading, making choices based from love as opposed to based from a position of fear. Now, when we do that, we're able to understand that the disease, as in the coronavirus that we're all dealing with during this global pandemic, is actually a reflection of what is going on internally with each and every one of us. The word disease is in fact two words, dis and then ease. So it's like I say, it's a reflection of the dis-ease, the uncertainty, the separation that is happening individually within each and every one of us. And that has to be expressed, energetically speaking, globally, because this is what we're all feeling on the inside. So I really want you to use this as an opportunity, like I say, to bridge the gap between that dis-ease. You may be physically, let's say, segregated or separated from people, but it is about coming back home to yourself. We started off with this card and I kind of want to bring it back full circle. It's about coming home to yourself, to bridge that gap, to bridge that dis-ease. And as you bridge the dis-ease, then the disease itself is also going to, I'm not going to say lessen, but what I'm saying is the expression of it in the future. We're doing something about creating, like I say, a more harmonious environment within ourselves so that we are not on a subconscious level energetically drawing, a similar experience into our future. I hope that this is making sense. I don't even know if I'm going to upload this because, like I say, I don't feel qualified to speak on the subject, and I'm just going to read the cards. That's what I'm going to do, just read the cards. So let's clarify with a couple of tarot now. Let's see what we've got going on, and then we'll wrap up with an oracle message. But like I say, I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that you're safe. I hope that you are, as much as possible, not allowing the anxiety to take over, and that you give yourself the space that you need so that you can react and respond and come from a place of love as you deal with this as it unfolds. Right, okay, let's split the deck. We didn't have any jumpers. Okay, and pull a tarot for each of these. So we've got the Fool. Interesting. Wow, we've got the World again. This was in 2 of the readings last week. Wow, the Devil. That was in 2 of the readings last week. I don't know if the Fool was. Oh my gosh. 4 major arcana cards. And the reading that I did for the weekend, we've got the 7 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. The reading that I did for the weekend had a 6 out of 7 major arcana cards, and I was a bit shook, but I felt that it was bigger than a weekend reading. So I'm glad that I've done this because it confirms that it was. Bear with me, my little one's woken up. So again, we've got like a table full of major arcana cards. And like I said, these 2 were definitely in 2 readings, I don't know which ones now, but over the week that we've had. So we have the Fool and we have the World. The Fool is the first card in the major arcana. The World is the last card in the major arcana. So as I don't know which one of these I was talking about now, but I spoke about the wrapping up, the successful completion of a cycle. And like I was saying with this Devil energy in the weekly reading, This is generational stuff. It might not just be stuff that's unfolded in your own lifetime. We're going back generations. This is deep rooted or deep seeded patterns that we've been carrying out that have kind of got us to this point and position that we're in at the moment. Now the Fool speaks about unlimited potential, the chance of a new beginning, a new chapter, a new way of doing things, stepping out in a new direction. The World speaks about wrapping up an old way of doing things, having learnt the lesson. I'm sure I've just said that in this reading as well. So it's about freedom from fear. It's about freedom from illness, because it's clarifying this card here. So with the both of them together, like I say, the first card and the last card, this coronavirus, I really think, has come as a teacher for us to begin something new and to close out an old way of doing things. Like, I don't know if it is, well, I don't know whereabouts in China, but I've heard that since they had their self-imposed, their involuntary, should I say, having to stay at home, it's cleared up a lot of the pollution that China has experienced. At the end of the day, China is like the factory of the world. I used to teach business in college, and one of the modules that I taught was on China and the manufacturing process, and the fact that, brands and companies globally all use China as their factory, where they have, not as great environmental laws. So a lot of the pollution from the factories is just pumped into their rivers, pumped into the oceans out there. And we as consumers, we don't care. It's not happening on our doorstep. As long as we get our goods and they cost 99p and we can get them from eBay with free shipping, which I never understand. How can something from China, get to your house for nothing? But it has a knock-on effect. So like I say, this is now looking beyond yourself. It's looking at the effect or the impact that, our choices have globally. So I find it fascinating. But like I say, the earth to me is screaming to rebalance itself. And it's expressed that need for balance, that need for justice. We had the justice card in one of the readings earlier at the week, but it's expressing its need for a recalibration through this illness. And I think that, like I say, as we take that step back, it gives the earth a chance to heal. It gives the earth a chance to replenish itself, because, we've come along with our modern, expectations of life. And, at the end of the day, we don't care. I'm just going to say we don't care, because we don't. We don't care about the impact that is having on the planet. Some people do, but the majority of us just, are struggling enough just to keep the roof over our head, that we're not thinking about the bigger or the larger impact. And I find it amazing, because the reading, I can't remember now, they all merge into one, but one of the readings that I did was talking about a new way of doing things. It was all about creativity, ideas that are being sparked from your imagination. And I really feel that this time we're going to see a lot of businesses open. And I don't mean corporations. I'm talking about people that are doing things that they love. Like I say, when you are aware that you cannot rely, let's say, on your employer to bring, X amount of money in to pay your bills, I think a lot of people are going to take a step back and say, well, you know what, I'd rather be in control of that aspect myself. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start doing the things that I've put to one side because I made this my main focus, and I'm going to become more self-sufficient in whatever way, shape or form that takes. And do excuse Safi, she's literally tearing the place up. Then we've got the devil. And I mentioned the devil in lots of different ways, whether this is something toxic that you're dealing with, whether this is an ambition that you're tirelessly working towards. But I'm definitely seeing it in light of this particular reading, like I say, of this control being a puppet on a string, being at the whim of whether it's a corporation or a whim of the coronavirus. It's like a lot of things at the moment are pulling people's strings. People are realizing the attachments that they have to stuff, the attachments that they have to a lifestyle, the attachments that they have that aren't really, let's say, for their highest good. It's all being highlighted by this coronavirus at the moment. Now, the world is ruled by Saturn. which is earth energy. The devil is also Capricorn energy, which is, you know, whose ruler is Saturn. And Saturn is the taskmaster. It speaks about social status, careers, corporations, management, hierarchy, you know, the bigger picture. And I'm seeing that there's big changes that are going to happen, whether this is at a political level, whether this is on an individual level. There's going to be a lot of changes that arise from this experience that we're dealing with at the moment. But like I said, however this devil card has shown up for you all week, and how you're, let's say, interpreting it or resonating with it in this particular reading, it's about being tied to a situation. And like I said, it's about attachment. So it's also about looking at your illusions, whether these are the illusions that surround the illness itself, or the illusions surrounding why you can't close out a cycle or close out an old way of doing things, so that you can step out in a new direction or on a new journey. Now we move over to the Strength card, which is ruled by Leo, card number 8 in the tarot. And this is all about your inner strength, drawing on that inner strength. It speaks about mastering your fears, or mastering what is, let's say, what is causing that fear or stress within you. It's about taming the beast. It's about where you choose to put your focus, your energy, your attention, especially, like I say, in this current climate. The news, the media, however you're consuming information surrounding this virus is going to have an impact. People's levels of anxiety are high. So like I've been saying, it's not just about positive thinking or pretending that this isn't something that's going on. It's about preparing, but from a place of love, from a place of understanding. In some places, even locally, you know, my car's not on the road at the moment, and my neighbours have been great. You know, I've got a little one. They want to know if there's anything I need from the supermarket, or if I need any help getting my car sorted out. So it's about allowing ourselves to be vulnerable. I'm just seeing this little lamb here. So it's about allowing ourselves to be vulnerable during this time, but knowing that with that vulnerability comes an inner strength, comes the ability for you to face your fears of, you know, vulnerability. Even if that vulnerability is like, well, how am I, you know, going to get what I need? Or what am I going to do if the kids are out of school? The people are vulnerable in a lot of different ways at the moment, but it's not fearing that vulnerability. It's understanding that there is a strength that comes from being honest, from being vulnerable. And it also leads you to, like I say, to be able to channel your focus in a way that suits you. Now we've got at the bottom of the deck the Seven of Cups, which speaks about options. It speaks about possibilities, but a level of confusion that surrounds them, not knowing which direction to go, not knowing what to do. And that is definitely the energy that we're dealing with in terms of, you know, collectively. Now 7, like I say, is a spiritual number. It's about reflection. So reflect on what's causing you confusion. If it's all the media that you're consuming, then take a step back from it. If this is, I don't even know how it's going to express itself. Let's see what's underneath here. The 3 of Wands, 6 of Cups. Let's take those. I'm not going any further than that. Right, okay. Oh, Sapphish, you got my folder? Yeah. So yeah, like I say, there's confusion surrounding options or pathways, things to do, what to do. You're emotionally spread thin at the moment is the feeling that I'm getting from this. And like I say, you may be waiting for a solution or waiting for the fog to clear, so that whatever it is that, you know, you're debating or deliberating, or what is clouded in confusion becomes clear and you can take action towards it. The 3 of Cups is like waiting for your ships to come in, but it's after having a plan in place and, you know, taking steps towards it. Usually this person stood on the shore as a merchant, and, you know, they've sent their ships out, which I find amazing because I've just spoken about China being the factory of the world. So it's like once those ships have sailed, you've just got to wait for whatever it is that you've sent out there to come back to you. And like I say, that's not happening in some cases. Whether you've put energy, you've put effort into hours at work and you're unsure if your job's going to be there. Whether this is, oops, careful, Baba. I've completely lost my train of thought now. But yeah, like I say, there is like a level of confusion about you waiting for something to come back to you, whether it's information, news. We've got this Six of Cups, which speaks about energies of the past. And we had the Six of Cups in the same reading that the devil came out in one day this week. I'm just going to link all of them at the end of this because they all merge into one. But this to me, like I say, is cycles of the past. This is being tied to the old way of doing things, whether this is in your lifetime currently or this is deeper than that. It goes further back than that. Like I was saying, this generational stuff that we're tied to, thinking that this is the only way that we can live, or accepting, should I say, the status quo, the way that things have always been. But there is illusion that surrounds this. Like I say, there's restriction that surrounds this. And we can free ourselves from the enslavement, or we can free ourselves from the bondage of whatever situation we're dealing with at the moment. Right, wow, what time are we on? Wow, that was long. Oh my goodness, I wasn't supposed to talk for that long. Right, let's pull a spirit message, and then I'm going to pull an oracle card and tie everything up. But yeah, like I say, my daughter is responsible for this reading today, guys. And she picked the cards, and like I say, I still don't know if I'm going to actually upload it. I'm going to edit it and see. Oops. It says, let yourself receive. Allow others to give you loving care. Receive without guilt or apologies. Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of that that's happening at the moment. I know a lot of people are reaching out to those that are older, seeing if there's anything that you know they want or need. But it's also about you. If you're in a situation where you're vulnerable, like I said, it's about allowing people to help and to support you. This is a time where everybody's learning. And as much as we're socially distancing, I think I've never spoken to more people, whether it's in the supermarket or not. And it's like, it's sharing that high vibrational energy with others and allowing yourself to also receive that high vibrational energy. Right, I'm going to pull one of these. These are my Mind, Body, Spirit Oracle cards. So let yourself receive, and it's receiving wellness, it's receiving the tranquility, the peace that you truly desire. Right, okay. Whoa, I'm not having all of those. Let's just get one. Let's pull this one. Release and surrender. We shower you with our blessings of our radiant love. Open your arms and release the challenges that you've held tightly gripped within your hands. Open your hands, arms and heart to our love and our assistance. So again, we've got both of these cards which allude to receiving, releasing and surrendering. So whatever it is you're holding on to, you know, an old mindset, a point or a basis of fear, like I say, that, you know, you're clinging onto, whether it's the stuff in the supermarkets, the toilet paper, the nappies, whatever. It's about releasing that fear and surrendering to what is going on and allowing people, like I say, to step in and to shower you with that love and care. Right, finally, let's get a Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle card. Tie this up. But like I say, I feel so unqualified to be talking about this subject. Right, okay. We've got the Ring Master of Scrutiny. Fantastic. It says discernment, clear vision and details. Card number 9. It kind of reminds me of hermit energy. Let's read that from the book. Number 9. Right, okay. The Ringmaster of Scrutiny is all about the details. Look closely and pay attention to the smallest elements of what's being presented to you on your path. It's in these details, not the broad strokes, that you'll find the breathtaking beauty and perfection in what you observe. This ally is on your side to point to the deeper meaning of what unfolds in your life. And he reminds you that every moment counts. Staying present in this perfect moment, observing the minute things, leads you to manifest your highest good and greatest desires. Grand gestures are for other times. It's the small acts that really count now, and there is nothing truer than that, especially in this time that we're going through. It's not about grand gestures. Like I say, it's the little things. It's that, you know, a call from a friend that says, is there anything that you need? Or picking up an extra something at the supermarket, and instead of hoarding it, like I say, releasing and surrendering and giving that to somebody that truly needs it. And it's those small moments that are going to add to or aid to, like I say, the tranquility that you experience, the warmth, the love, the atmosphere that you're creating, not just in your home, but in your communities, not just in your communities, but globally. Right, that's it, because I feel I've spoken, but I don't really know what I've spoken about, but I'm going to re-listen to this as I edit it, and if it makes sense, then you guys will hear it too. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Stay safe, keep your vibration high. Like I say, please act from a place of love and not fear, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye.